Hello, amazing people. Welcome back to another episode of Building Your Health Esteem. I'm your host, Jerome Craig. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about spending or investing. Stay tuned. So in my home, it's 5:30 in the morning, and I'm just coming back from being upstairs saying hi to my wife because she does wake up early as well, but after I do. So I'll typically get up and I'll do my morning routine, take the dog out, do that kind of thing, and then come down and get myself prepped for whatever project I have lined up for the morning. When I get into a good state of productivity and I'm feeling like I'm going to do it, and I pop up to say hi to my wife, she's like, "Oh my goodness, top of the morning to you." She's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, I got this thing I got to do, blah, blah, blah." This is what the topic is about today. It's about energy and where we spend or invest our time. Now, energy is something we can talk about in so many different ways. I'm not talking about energy pathways in the body, like the aerobic pathway versus anaerobic pathway, glycolysis. How do we create ATP? ATP is a currency of energy. And that's what we're talking about spending or investing. Where do we put our energy, our currency? Where do we spend it? And for me, I feel like it's pretty easy to change my energy these days. I used to, and it's hard to admit it, but I think I used to be pretty much a kind of downer guy with not very good energy. Somebody would say something like, "Yeah, blah, yeah." I don't know what that was about, but we evolve. And so I'm evolving. I'm trying to be more conscious of my energy because I do believe that energy is a contagion, right? We can spread things. You can walk into any sort of room and you're like, "Oh, something's amiss here." You can feel an energy, like a tension. We can bring an energy that changes the world around us if we choose to. And so I would like us to spend a few moments just checking in on our energy today and think about a few things that can alter that energy pretty instantly. And of course, I think having a sense of purpose and accomplishment and trying to get something done and being specific about where we're spending our time is a great way to increase our energy. Oftentimes, I'll get sucked down the rabbit hole on the internet, and I realize that depletes my energy. I get sucked into something else. Everything's clickbait these days. Everything is clickbait, right? So it's very hard to stay focused. But other things that we can do to maintain our energy, we've looked at in the past. Your sustenance is super important, your recuperation is super important, your movement is super important. So I don't want to belabor these things. I just want you to think about, how do I produce energy? How do I transform energy? And if we start thinking about as energy is something that we control, we direct, we're not going to struggle feeling energized. We get to choose that energy every single moment. Everything we do as a choice can elevate our energy. And so I like to think about posture. I like to think about movement. And if you've been sitting for a long period of time, that is definitely something you need to hop up from right now and maybe move around, get some blood flow to the brain, get some oxygen delivery. Posture is super important. If we stand up straight, our diaphragm functions better. We get more oxygen around into the system through our breathing. Breath is so important. Just stop right now and just think about your breath. I have an app on my phone called Breathe, and it sends me notifications every single day. And it says something like a quote from somebody about breath, or it says, "Notice your breath right now," or Take one conscious breath in and let it out. Congratulations, you just meditated. Things like that. I think breath is super, super important. So I like box breathing. You can look this up. I like scaling breath work. So breathing more rapidly and then bring it back down in a nice calm state. Just a slow, deep, energizing breath, just a couple of cycles. There's so much you can do with breath, and we can talk about it more in the future. But just think about how you can bring the energy. It is a conscious choice that you get to make. And I know this sounds hard if you really, really run down and you haven't taken care of the other pillars in your life. But if you start owning that and realizing that energy is something that you produce from within, movement will create more ATP and more energy. So think about those things. Start moving, start paying attention. You are an energetic being, and you influence those around you. So if you want the world to be a better place, don't get sucked down into all this negative energy that is so pervasive right now, but project your positive energy. Take it out there and infect others with your awesomeness. All right, I'm feeling pretty energized this morning, so I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to hit the gym and get on with my day. I hope you have an excellent day. Peace.